The news you need starts right now, only on Fox Montana.
The polls closing 1 hour ago for the general municipal city elections here in Great Falls. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. We'll have some preliminary results for you momentarily, but first, our own Joe Biega recaps the voting process, plus a new and quicker way to tabulate your votes.
Welcome to the Expo Park Exhibition Hall, or should I say Election Hall, as all your voted ballots must go through here to be counted.
The 2013 City Municipal General Election. We're here at Exhibition Hall where we count the ballots. This is an all-mail ballot election, so 20 days ago we sent out 28,000 ballots. As of this morning, before we got the mail, we had about 10,775 ballots in.
What looks like a slow morning for election officials is actually a pretty busy one for those members counting ballots. But thanks to new election machines, the count is a little faster.
This has an optical scanner in it. Unlike the other machine, it actually reads front and back of the ballot and takes a picture of everything going through. In the past, if a ballot was an overvote, an undervote, a write-in candidate, the machine stopped, and the technician that was running the machine had to manually remove that ballot and put it in a tray for either overvotes, undervotes. This machine has a separator in it. It never stops, and so during the last election, we were actually running 1,000 ballots every 20 minutes.
New machines and all, there are a few snags still in the election process, as some folks have forgotten to sign their ballots and must do so for them to count.
This is where we can reissue those ballots, or where you can pick up your undeliverables. We have a little basket over there of some people that didn't sign their ballots. Those people have all gotten phone calls. They just need to come down here and we dig out the unsigned paperwork out of our file and ask for some ID, and they can sign, and then that ballot goes in for the count too.
In Great Falls, Joe Biega, ABC Fox Montana News.
According to the elections office, election results are currently on hold because of a malfunction with those new polling machines. However, so far about 85% or 11,000 of the votes have been tabulated for the preliminary results. In the race for Great Falls mayor, incumbent Michael Winters is leading in the polls with 6,675 votes. Following behind him is Aaron Purcell with 3,534 votes. We'll have the final results of all the elections tomorrow night. And speaking of elections, Republican Congressman Steve Daines expected to announce tomorrow whether or not he'll be running for the U.S. Senate. At a special event in Bozeman tomorrow, the GOP confirming Congressman Daines will announce his bid for the Senate seat vacated by Democratic Senator Max Baucus, set to retire. Daines will enter as the frontrunner in the race against Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Walsh. He's expected to make this highly anticipated announcement tomorrow at noon, so be sure to stick with Fox Montana News at 9 for the latest. All right, moving into weather, Chief Meteorologist Ted King is here with the first look at our forecast. I sure did enjoy today's sunshine, Ted.
You and I both, Emily, and good evening, everyone. Yeah, a lot of sunshine out there today. Yeah, the clouds rolled in the afternoon, but nothing to spoil the fun. Let me show you what's going on right now. Not a whole lot. A couple of light snow showers around the region. Some of this is false return that you're seeing, but much of the activity on the other side of the divide. We may see a few snow flurries or snow showers scattered about central Montana tonight, but nothing to cause any travel problems or anything like that. A little breezy out there, 17-mile-per-hour sustained winds in Great Falls in the last hour, with temperatures in the mid-30s right now. We got down to 18 this morning in Great Falls, 23 in Helena, and made it up to 40 today, and 42 in Helena, and we'll be a couple of degrees warmer than that tomorrow. And I'll have the full details coming up in just a little while. Emily?
Thanks, Ted. After a drug-fueled murder under the influence of a synthetic marijuana known as spice, 32-year-old Nathan Calvert has been sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences in the Montana State Prison. Calvert, convicted of stabbing a Dixon man to death last December, admitted to stabbing Doug Morjo 54 times, attempting to kill Morjo's wife Cheryl by slitting her throat. Fox Montana's Emily Foster sat in on the court proceedings today and has the full story.
It was an emotional day of testimony here inside Sanders County District Court, but family members of the victim say a life sentence means they finally have closure. State prosecutors called Doug Morjo's 3 siblings to the stand, all of whom agreed with the prosecutor's suggested sentence of life in prison without parole.
My brother didn't deserve to die like this.
You know, he took away something that I'll never get back.
And to have his life taken away at that age is something I just don't understand.
Court documents show Calvert stabbed Morgeau to death and attempted to kill his wife after smoking spice for 2 weeks straight and going off his medication. Morgeau's wife, Cheryl, also spoke on the stand, despite only having the use of one vocal cord after Calvert slit her throat.
The hardest part is the loss of security and feeling safe, though.
The defense argued Calvert should receive treatment for his schizoaffective disorder and his chemical dependency in a mental hospital.
For the most part, if individuals cooperate with their medication program, we can keep these symptoms at a residual level.
But in the end, Judge Kim Christopher said she had to deliver justice to Morgeau's family and sentenced Calvert to 2 consecutive life terms in prison.
I'm glad that she recognized that he needs to be kept off the street.
The judge says she will not impose any restrictions on the possibility of parole for Calvert. In Thompson Falls, Emily Foster, ABC Fox Montana.
Calvert has been charged with deliberate homicide, attempted deliberate homicide, aggravated burglary, and robbery. Governor Steve Bullock encouraging all Montanans to stay healthy this flu season. This morning, the governor walked into a Billings Walgreens, pulled up his sleeve, and got his flu shot. Earlier this year, the governor released his Big Sky, New Horizons, a Healthier Montana initiative. According to statistics, nearly 36,000 Americans, including 100 Montanans, die every year from the flu.
Today I got my flu shot because at the end of the day, every Montanan needs to be doing so. We put out our health improvement plan for the state earlier this year. A piece of it really is taken from about 34% of Montanans that we have, getting rates up to 60% in the next 5 years.
And Senator Max Baucus is holding a hearing tomorrow to discuss his viewpoints on the country's health care rollout. Yesterday, the senior senator said he believes the rollout of the nation's new health care law can get back on track. Tomorrow at his hearing, the senator will discuss his statement and his reasons behind saying it. Health Secretary Kathleen Sebelius will speak alongside Senator Baucus at tomorrow's hearing about the health care rollout. The hearing will take place at the Finance Committee room in the Senate at 8 a.m. Meanwhile, contractors continue working around the clock to fix glitches on the Obamacare website. This as the Obama administration faces accusations they misled the public about being able to keep their current health insurance plans. The White House now fighting back, saying the president remains concerned about news that hundreds of thousands of Americans are receiving insurance cancellation notices.
15% of the country, uninsured, now has access to affordable care that they did not have before. 5% is on the individual market. Of that 5%, if you had a plan and your insurance company didn't cancel it, you could keep it. Look, I acknowledge that, we need to, as I just said, make sure that folks who fall in that 5% and had their plans canceled by their insurers in the past 3 years, that we need to do a better job of getting information to them so they know what their options are.
The White House says the Obamacare website will be fully fixed and functioning by the end of November. And after weeks of focusing on the government shutdown and the troubled rollout of the federal government's online health exchange, President Obama now says the country is ready for immigration reform. Business leaders at the White House today as the president laid out his plans to overhaul the immigration system by the end of this year.
The Obama administration promising billions in deficit reduction and more than $1 trillion in economic growth by advancing a comprehensive immigration bill already passed by the democratically controlled Senate. At a White House meeting Tuesday, President Obama is reaching out to job creators who run some of America's largest corporations, trying to get their stamp of approval. The president says the bill has bipartisan support.
There's no reason why we can't get this done before the end of the year.
Business leaders from McDonald's to Motorola, Lockheed Martin at the table in the Roosevelt Room. The meeting meant to put pressure on House Republicans to vote.
It's my estimation that we actually have the votes to get comprehensive immigration reform done in the House right now.
But prospects in the GOP-controlled House have been seen as dim, and the Senate Democratic Majority Leader is clearly frustrated.
They can get $1 trillion by passing immigration reform, but they refuse to do that. I am so disappointed in how the House is being run.
House Republican Speaker John Boehner says the Senate bill is too large and too complex.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Boehner's spokesman said last month, quote, the House is committed to a common sense, step-by-step approach We hope that the president will work with us, not against us, as we pursue this deliberate approach. A House bill with 3 Republican co-sponsors is getting some attention, but there are no House votes scheduled, and there are a few legislative days left in 2013. In Washington, Molly Henneberg, Fox News.
A victory for the Office of Public Instruction after a request on behalf of Superintendent Denise Juneau and U.S. Senators Max Baucus and John Tester. The U.S. Department of Education has granted the state with a testing waiver. Montana applied for the waiver to avoid double testing of Montana students this school year and help schools transition into a completely new statewide assessment in 2015. The Office of Public Instruction applied for the waiver in September and is the first state to receive it.
This replaces our old test, moves it online, allows schools and teachers and students a tryout year. They get to look at the questions, they get to see if their technology is going to be ready for when it becomes, real in the following year. But this really will move our education system forward.
Juneau received support for the waiver request from multiple educational groups around the state. In fact, the Office of Public Instruction received more than 350 comments in support of the waiver request. We've all used Google to help us figure something out, but as we all know, it's not always as successful as we'd like. So now Google's launching a network of live video-based help services called Google Helpouts, where you can pay an expert to help you solve your problem. Google has more than 1,000 experts available to give tips in subjects ranging from technology, cooking, and fitness. Some problems those experts can help you solve. Worried about getting the perfect fit for your business suit? An expert can help for $2.50 per minute. Aspiring models can help you master the perfect pose for $25 an hour. And just in time for the holidays, Christmas Cookie SOS for $1 per minute. And of course, Google itself has to make some money out of this. The search giant will take 20% of every transaction. I'm not surprised at all, Ted. This really seems to be the new thing. You can't just chat online with people anymore. You actually want to physically see them and talk to them. And with Skype and those kind of programs, why not?
Yeah, I guess so. Some food for thought when you think about the implications perhaps, but very useful, and I guess just the now thing. I use Google occasionally. When I forget my name, I Google.
Well, there you go. All right, Ted.
Very useful.
Is that sunshine sticking around?
We're going to see some more sunshine tomorrow, but more clouds as well. Kind of a mixed bag coming up. There is a little bit of rain and snow in the forecast, so you want to stick around for that.
Your Weather Authority forecast right now, only on Fox Montana.
Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're with us on this Tuesday. And yes, 2 days of the work week out of the way. Already thinking about that weekend. And not bad weather coming up for the next couple of days. By the time we get to Thursday night and Friday, could see a little bit of rain, snow mixed, and some rain perhaps on Friday. More on that coming up in just a moment. Not too bad out there for this time of year. 33 in Great Falls. 35 in Helena, Lewistown. Yikes, pretty chilly, 25 degrees. Everyone gets down into the 20s for overnight lows tonight. A couple of light snow flurries around the region. More activity, as you might expect, over the high country as that air sort of gets a lift, cools, and it wrings out the available moisture, but there's not much moisture. So some snow shower activity over the high country, and we could see a couple of snow flurries slash snow showers across central Montana, but many of you won't see any activity through the overnight hours. Pretty good view of the jet stream you see right here, moving from west to east. And we had basically a flat flow over the top of us. Remember, the jet stream, the river of air about 25,000 feet in the atmosphere. It acts like a conveyor belt for moisture and storm systems. And it does not bring in a whole lot of moisture or very strong storm systems over the next several days. Tomorrow will be pretty much in the same position. Maybe a few flurries early tomorrow, but I think we see sun. Sun and clouds, we'll call it a mixture of sun and clouds tomorrow. And then by Thursday night, Friday, this trough right here, it sort of deepens a little bit and heads towards us and brings us a chance for some showers of rain and or snow Thursday night. And it looks like some rain on Friday, snow higher up, but for central Montana, it looks like just some rain for Friday. So for tomorrow, some sun, maybe a few flurries early tomorrow. But all in all, a decent day with temperatures reaching the low 40s. And not a bad day on Thursday. We'll have some sunshine, but then the clouds will be rolling in later in the day as that next trough approaches in the jet stream that I showed you before. And by Thursday night, we could see some precipitation happening around here. And you'll see that Coming up in the 7-day forecast, but for central Montana tonight, lots of clouds, breezy, a few snow showers possible. Temperatures down mostly in the lower 20s in the more normally cooler communities to the middle 20s elsewhere. And then for tomorrow, clouds and sun, a bit on the breezy side. Could see some gusts up to 30 with temperatures in the upper 30s, normally cooler communities, about 43 in Great Falls, 45 in Helena. Mostly cloudy and windy across the Rocky Mountain front tonight. Could see gusts, this should say, I got to up this, I got to fix this. Could see gusts up to 60 miles per hour along portions of the Rocky Mountain front. Temperatures down into the 20s. And then for tomorrow, less wind, clouds and sun, 30s and low 40s. And the rest of the high line tonight, cold down to the teens and low 20s. And then for tomorrow, a few flurries are possible, temps in the 30s and lower 40s. Here's the next 7 days for you. Decent days Wednesday and Thursday. Not wall-to-wall sun, but pretty decent with temps in the 40s. Some rain around on Friday. And then Sunday with colder temperatures here, we could actually see a bit more snow. Emily.
Coming up, attention all Call of Duty gamers. There are some new characters in the game's 10th installment. That's in tonight's entertainment update. Up next. The wait is over for Call of Duty gamers. The anticipation builds for the Hunger Games catching fire. And could Wolverine be making another comeback? But first, Keith is a sellout in tonight's entertainment update. Idol judge Keith Urban rocked the Home Shopping Network Sunday, selling out all 20,000 of his limited edition Urban guitars. It was the country crooner's first time on the channel and HSN's largest ever guitar debut. Today, the 10th installment in the popular game series Call of Duty was released. Some changes were made in order to raise the bar once again. This will be the first time a girl player will be in the game. A dog will also be featured as a new canine companion. The game will be about $60 and compatible with PlayStation 3, Wii U, and Xbox 360. It's the first Call of Duty game made for the new PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
What I am can't be undone.
A third Wolverine movie is in the works with director James Mangold and star Hugh Jackman in negotiations. The franchise's second installment grossed more than $400 million worldwide. A global event for the December 13th release of The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, brought more than 5,000 fans to theaters in New York, Los Angeles, London, and New Zealand, and another 20,000 tuning in to a live broadcast online. Plus, director Peter Jackson and stars Orlando Bloom and Richard Armitage were on hand for some Q&A and to introduce a few new characters. And the Hunger Games Catching Fire cast had their own meet and greet Monday, hitting the Cherry Hill Mall in Philadelphia, the first stop on their national victory tour to promote the film's November 22nd release. And that's your entertainment update. You a gamer, Dan? Thinking about getting that new Call of Duty?
Somewhat. I'm not really into the more modern stuff. I'm still stuck in like the Super Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Street Fighter era.
Of course. So. How can we ever forget those games?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Dan Korch joins me now for Sports Dan. A busy day in the sports world.
Yes, it was a busy day as a lot of teams hitting the practice field again as they're heading down the home stretch of their respective seasons. And CMR couldn't have picked a better time to be playing well as we check in with the Rustlers tonight. This and more coming up as your sports fix is on the other side of the break.
Well, we got some work to do. You know, the worst thing you can do is after a win is go look at film and you say, oh man, how did we do that? Why did we do that? So yeah, we need to come out and have a good week of practice and get ready for Capital.
If they weren't before, the Rustlers are more than in playoff mode now as they prepare for a rematch with the Capital Bruins. Plus, the Cats survive a scare in Greeley, but did it prepare them for Eastern Washington? Stay right here as Fox Montana Sports begins now.
Total sports coverage. Fox Montana Sports starts right now.
Good evening, Montana. I'm Dan Kortz, and here is your evening sports fix. The AA playoff bracket was finalized after Helena's crosstown win Saturday. The loser of that matchup, Capital, then found out that they have a rematch with the CMR Rustlers on Saturday at Vigilante Stadium. The Rustlers did what many felt was the impossible after their 0-4 start, make the postseason. That may have proven beneficial for the Rustlers if they have played the last 6 weeks like every game is a playoff game, even though there has been no mention of such a situation by the team. The Rustlers overall feel they are catching fire at the right time.
We were bit by the injuries early, so we got healthy and now we're rolling, and so I definitely do feel like we have the edge. We've been down before and we know what it's like, and we're finally gelling together.
We went 0-4 to start, and I don't think the kids ever lost confidence or faith. They knew it's just a matter of getting some kids back healthy and getting our team together, and we were going to start playing pretty good, and that's exactly kind of what's happened.
After coasting for so long in conference play, the Montana State Bobcats were finally given a scare this past Saturday at Northern Colorado. The possibility of the Cats looking ahead were imminent with a trip to Eastern Washington coming up, but Jeff Eberly tells us that the scare in Greeley may have been just what the Cats needed.
Before Northern Colorado, Montana State had not been in a close game late in the fourth quarter since the Stephen F. Austin loss. Running back Cody Kirk says that's good for team chemistry.
It's a mentality thing where we know we're going to win. Sometimes it's not the way we wanted to, but we went out there and got it, and it's just great practice, and it's great to know that it builds the team and it builds our camaraderie, knowing that we can go and get it done together.
Games like that help you out down the stretch, and especially in November, playoffs, the tighter games that you can get in and win, it builds confidence within the team. And it helps you tremendously in games like this one that's going to come up.
But some guys, including head coach Rob Ash, would much rather prefer blowouts.
No, I didn't like that at all. I would have much rather had a one-sided game.
I guess it's never fun to be in a tight, close game in the fourth quarter. It'd be nice to just walk through every game. But it is good, I think, to get the experience to know that we can still play 4 quarters.
Then there's players like Denarius McGee who embrace the late game pressure.
You have to love those situations, even though you don't like getting into those situations because there has been some execution problems. But going down the stretch, you have to be resilient.
You want to blow everyone out, but like our coach said, teams are defined by how they respond. Not things when things are going well, but through adversity. I mean, we want to limit the adversity as much as possible.
Reporting in Bozeman, Jeff Eberly, ABC Fox Montana Sports.
The Carroll cross country team, even with a new head coach, did not miss a beat. Both the men's and women's teams are once again competing for the Frontier Conference title, but as Fox Montana's Derek Opina tells us, winning again may not be as easy as in previous years.
The women are actually going for the four-peat, but they're going to have to do it without back-to-back individual champion Rihanna Grossman, who's redshirting this year. However, they do have freshman phenom Leah Esposito, who's been named Frontier Conference Runner of the Week 5 times this year. As for the men's side, they shocked the conference last year when they took the title after entering the championship unranked. I had the chance to speak with some of the runners to see how they're preparing for conference. Here's what they had to say.
I'm not only pushing myself, I'm trying to push my teammates to do the best that they can do so that we can all have a chance to go to nationals. And it's just something that all season you're sitting there just wanting to go back and you're wanting more and you're just pushing everybody as well as yourself.
At high school we never really won a championship. We always wanted to, but it would be really exciting, and I think that the whole team is really excited to win. So.
And as you mentioned earlier, Ben, the conference championships will be on Friday, but the team will be leaving first thing on Wednesday. In Helena, Derek Opina, ABC Fox Montana Sports.
Some volleyball as Hellgate and Helena fighting for a state bid. Set 1, Rachel Martin serve. Bengals set. This is going to go out of bounds. Ace serve, Knights up 6-3. But the Bengals would fight back. Madison Rickmeyer with the set. Savannah Swanson with the kill. Bengals down 5-8. Later, Helena now on set point, and Tyler Holland serve. That's going to be an ace. Helena takes set 1, 25-18. They sweep Hellgate 3-0. Hey, that's it for sports. We're back after this.
So, Ted, it sounds like we'll sort of keep coasting at this pace weather-wise for the next couple of days?
Yeah, not bad days coming up. Sun and clouds, but all in all, pretty decent days coming up.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much. Hey, that's all we have tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night with those election results.